It's another hot day here on the farm in Thailand, and today we're going to talk about hyacinth. Exciting, isn't it? So most of you will have seen the catfish pond that we've got, the walking catfish pond, and we've got overgrown with hyacinth since the water's been dropping. We're down to about our last, I'd say about a metre now, so it's not looking good. This prolonged dry season, it's finally getting us to the point where we're a little bit concerned. It's been threatening to rain on and off most days for the past 2 weeks, but we just can't get the big downpours. Apart from I don't know, about 3 or 4 drops of rain, we've had nada, absolute jack. So it is getting a little bit concerning, but anyway, the good news is the hyacinth's flowering. So there's the scary catfish pond. I say scary, if you cast your mind back not so long ago, where I fed these bad boys. When they get on the feed, they're pretty ferocious. Now, I've already been in there this morning for about, I don't know, about 40 minutes or so, and been taking a lot of the hyacinth out. That's just a small portion of it. There's another load here. And I found that the quickest way to do it is actually to get in there, which hasn't been possible before because the water's always been too high. You can see on the side here, that's where it started to drop. Actually, the normal height is there. So we have about 1.5 feet of leeway between there and the top shelf. The top shelf's never been flooded, but it's never ever been this low before. Where I've been in this morning, I've been trying to stand mostly there, and that's about up to my knees. And as I waded out there, that's up to nad depth, and you can see the catfish coming up now. But yeah, they've been biting my toes, which isn't great because I've just been wearing my old trusty Adder flip-flops. Oh no, I think they're key toes. I've changed. I don't like wearing my old trainers and that in there, but yeah, it doesn't half make you jump when they have a nibble on your tootsies. But yeah, it's all right. They haven't got sharp teeth. They've just got sort of like a Brillo pad on the mouth. So why are we taking all this out? Well, there's 2 trains of thoughts really on this. One is people will say you should leave it in there because it protects the surface of the water from evaporation. But when you look at the rootstock of a water hyacinth, that sucks up a hell of a lot of water, and these are all hollow as well. So well, not hollow, but they're like a sponge. So I want to take a load out and populate our other ponds, and this has remained a little bit deeper, but this has got the fish in that we eat. So I want to, you can see over there, they've eaten just about all of it. So true to form, the missus is sat down on her arse watching TV. I've come back out again to launch some of this stuff out. We've also got the Australian alligator weed, that's what I've been told it is, here, and that grows incredibly quickly. So much so we used to cut this out like pieces of cake, but since the hyacinth has grown taller, it's created a bit of a natural barrier around that, so it's sort of suppressed its growth, which is good. So here's a few catfish there now disturbed all the root systems and that. It releases a lot of bits and bobs, detritus and bugs as well, so they're having a nosy round in there, but they do prefer my toes. Right, enough blah de blah. Let's get your arse in there, Lee, and get some more emptied out. I want to get all the hyacinth out that I want before I start moving it all, because you've got to get it all off this first shelf, throw it onto the high shelf before it can go in the other ponds. And I would like to get a load out and do some more mulching before my coconut mulching all disappears. It's still quite thick, but I just want to keep it topped up in these dry conditions. The other reason I want to get it all clear along here is a bug light at night. It's next to no bloody use whatsoever at the moment. All the bugs come, and obviously some of them drop in there, but it's not easy for the catfish to grab them. So if I can clear this side, then night time we can put the bug light on and they can get some free food again. I have to say this pond's been quite neglected. The other ones have taken precedent really. But, all prioritising, I suppose. We'll get there. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm not sure whether it was because it was such a big project or whether those Romans were just slacking. So I'm not going to slack, I'm going to get onto it. Right, it's Lee's usual trick. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so probably the hottest part of the day, and I'm going to call it quits for today. I've got a hell of a lot moved out the pond, not as much as I'd like, but it's so thick. I'll just show you first of all what I've got out and what's still to get out. Here we have a wall of green. Thankfully I've got the arm strength of Jan Zalesny, so most of it I can launch up clear of the shelf, but as it gets higher, even my superb throwing action can't get it all the way up here. This lot was out of the first corner that I showed you. In total I reckon 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. But it's like, to me it reminds me when you dig a hole. The hole doesn't look very big, but the soil that you take out is immense, so these are quite compacted while they're in the pond. As soon as you lift them out, of course, they just all fan out and the water drains away, of course. So let's have a look down here and show you what I've managed to clear. I'll have a nibble of some moringa. I'm a bit tired. I probably should have washed my hands, but hey ho. Oh, feel healthy already. Right. I don't know whether that looks any different to you, but wow, that was a lot of stuff that came out there. This probably shows you a little bit better the amount of stuff that's come out. Now, I did have a little bit of a to-do. I don't know whether you noticed when I went down there, I started moving all the debris from the side of the pond. You'll see it's quite clear on the sides in the corner here. And I basically just raked it in there and trampled it down. The reason being, I was just getting pecked to death by the catfish. So, and a couple of the real big ones come. Oh, one's just come up there. That's a biggie. And I was almost to the point of soiling myself. So it didn't half make you jump every time. So I built my raised platform, and then as I came out, I just raked it out and popped it round one of my coconuts here. Now, here's a bit of useless information for you. Well, I don't know if it's useless or not, but here we go. You guarantee you, no one will ever have told you this before, and no one else knows that catfish eat hyacinth flowers. They don't really eat the roots of the plant, they just mooch around in there for the bugs. But once these get into the water, they start noshing on those. I never knew that. If you're into your fishing, I still recommend putting a worm on your hook rather than a bunch of flowers. Another first on YouTube, eh? Unfortunately, I couldn't make it all the way along, not even with my weed pontoon coming along here. And I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but thank God it wasn't on camera. Or maybe it's a shame it wasn't on camera for you guys. I did slide in over nab depth, and it's deeper than I thought. So it keeps on sloping and sloping, and my nipples got wet. So I thought it's time to get out, because I wasn't so much worried about the catfish. I started getting flashbacks of one of my favourite films of all time, Anacondas. And for those of you that haven't watched it, it's not that I like anacondas. It's just got Jennifer Lopez in, and she's got the same nose as Toon. So that's my favourite film, Jennifer Lopez. What a hottie, eh? once the vision of Jennifer Lopez subsided, I then started getting visions of giant anacondas in here. And before you say it, I know anacondas aren't a native snake in Thailand, but if you just Google it or YouTube search it and put Thailand anacondas or anacondas in Thailand in, yeah, there's plenty over here, and there's some do escape, and the ones that escape can have babies. So I know it's not very likely that there's one in here, but I did think, right, let's call it a day. I couldn't get any further along here anyway, because this just goes straight down. The corners are more sloped. I could have got some more out, but my old bottom lip was going, and I thought it's time to get out. I'm not enjoying myself anymore. I know Eddie will probably say, when are you going to get those bloody steps dug into the side of it? But if you look at it, you can't dig into solid rock, can you? So I could make some concrete steps in the future. That'll probably happen. But we've got more pressing things to do. It's not very often that we need to get in here anyway. And now that I know I could probably walk all the way across, not that I'm going to, I'm not so bothered about it. I've got the balance of a cat anyway, so you can see it's pretty easy to get down there. As we get older though, I won't be going down there. We'll just get someone for about 100 baht a day to work on the farm. After all this COVID's gone, should be able to get some cheap labour in. Or if you fancy a nice, involved, active farm stay, guess what you'll be doing? That's right, you'll be in here with the anacondas and the catfish clearing out the hyacinth. So what we're going to do with the rest, Lee? Well, I think it'll serve the farm best if we concentrate on mulching. I've been shredding loads of the small bits of tin sticks, and we've been putting the biochar and goat muck around everything. But this on top of it, I think it's a good way of keeping the sun off. It doesn't last very long. You imagine here, this has been mulched about 3 times over the last year, and you wouldn't know it. And it's not that the goats eat it or anything, or the bugs eat it. These coconut trees, they've been mulched to death. They had about 2 foot of grass put round there. They've had hyacinth put round there. When we had the ducks, there was loads of duck bedding and duck manure put here, and it just all disappears eventually. It's obviously going to take a long time to improve things, but we'll get there, eh? Another top tip about hyacinth, guys: if your missus is into eating flowers, they're very good fried up with a chili dip. Not quite as macho as having a rack of beef ribs, but if you're short of a few bob, or your supermarkets have sold out of food as well as toilet paper these days, then you can almost throw yourself in your anaconda pond and grab yourself a few hyacinths for the missus to fry up. Right then, it's time for me to head back, get some rest, and I know what I'm watching tonight. Now I've got Jennifer Lopez in my head.